Howie Roseman an extra $8 million in salary cap space during the football season is very, very, very dangerous for the rest of the division. Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, King Dingbat here, and so tonight is the night of the nights of the nights. Tonight, football is back. The NFL is live. No more preseason, no more third stringers, no more fourth stringers. It is time to get this season underway, and it starts Bills versus Rams. Should be a great game. Now, as the Eagles are getting ready for their first game on Sunday, guess who is making the rounds? And when I do this season, I just do this. I'm not going to say anything, I'm just going to do this. When I do that, that means Howie Roseman is running circles around the Dallas Cowboys front office yet again. And you know what? Today, he did it again. The Eagles create about $8 million in cap space. Now, before we get into it, if you're new to the channel and you like the content, make sure to like. More importantly, make sure you subscribe for daily Eagles content. We stream every Eagles game, and we talk a lot of football here. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be crazy. And if you've been subscribed for a while, you know the deal. Just double check. Double moonwalk check. Make sure you're still subscribed. Now, let's get right into this. Because here he goes again. And it's pretty much like almost every year, Howie Roseman finds a way to create cap space. And creating about $8 million in cap space is really important because especially if the Eagles are players at the trade deadline, you're going to want to be able to have the maneuverability to make trades. And $8 million is a decent amount to have because you got to remember, by the time the trade deadline comes, by the time teams make trades at that point in time, half of the season, half of the salary is off the books. So, maybe a guy would be $10 million in cap space. Now, all of a sudden, he's $4 million, $5 million. So, $8 million gives you enough to work with. It's not a ton, but it's enough. It's enough to get the job done. And if you want to go out and sign a guy like Javon Hargrave, extend him, you have the ability to do it, okay? So, here's what my man Howie Roseman did. Can you believe it? I'm saying Howie Roseman, my man, crazy. In a near annual rite of passage, the Eagles have restructured the contract of offensive tackle Lane Johnson per source. Philly converted $5.8 million of Johnson's base salary and $2.7 million of Jake Elliott's base salary into a signing bonus, creating about $6.9 million in cap space. Now, when you add that to what they already had in cap space, which wasn't much, it gives you about $8 million, okay? And here's the thing. That could be very important down the road because you don't know what opportunities are going to present themselves. And if you look at the way Howie Roseman has been this year, the guy is all about making moves right now. So I would not be surprised if the Eagles are big-time players during the trade deadline, and we'll see who becomes available. It's going to be interesting, Before these contracts, and this was according to Bleeding Green Nation, before these contracts changes, the Eagles were among 7 teams with less than $6 million in cap space, which would have put them at a disadvantage. There's always a chance that Roseman already has a roster move in his mind. He's already calculating the calculations of the cornbread with his big pocket pencil protectors, Napoleon hat. Yeah, that's what he's doing, But it could also give them cushion, as I was saying, into a season should they need help due to injuries, but also if they want to go ahead and maybe extend a guy like a Javon Hargrave or something like that. Although you got to wonder what their plan with Hargrave is right now because they really haven't made seemingly any effort to extend him. We know Fletcher Cox is on one more, he has one more year left, and then he's probably going. So it's going to be interesting what they do. However, the Eagles just gave themselves some flexibility. Now, I want to say this, because there's a lot of back and forth when it comes to these restructurings. I think restructuring contracts is fine if you don't do it to the extreme. Sometimes in the past, Howie Roseman and the Eagles have done it too much. It got us in trouble a couple years ago, and it wasn't good. Howie had to do a lot of work, including getting rid of your franchise quarterback and eating $35 million in dead cap space to kind of get out of it. But I think, if you think you're close and you need that one, you may need that extra space for that one move that may put you over, and you want to be in a position to get there, I think it's fine. So I'm okay with this based upon the fact that the Eagles look at their team and say, you know what, come like the trade deadline, come early in the season, we may be in a position where we think we can win this whole thing, or we can make a deep run, and we want to have the maneuverability to go out and make a trade. So I'm okay with it. Now, if it's every year and it's every other guy, it's not good. But in this regard, I think I'm cool with it. But hopefully it's not going to be a bunch of other guys. We will definitely see. Now, the other thing I want to talk about, Miles Sanders, okay? Because Miles Sanders is back at practice. You know what? It is hotter than a mother humper up here. It is hotter than a mother humper. My God, it's going to be 111 degrees today. And where I live, they keep sending you these texts saying, by 4 o'clock, please make sure you set your thermostat to 78 degrees. Do not use appliances. Do not do this. If you have an electric vehicle, do not charge it. Like, they're telling everybody what they should or shouldn't do at home. I always write back. I always text back. It doesn't go to anybody, but I always text back. Every time you tell me to do something, every time you tell me to turn up my thermostat, I put it 2 degrees lower. So I got one yesterday, I put the air 2 degrees lower. I got one today, 2 degrees lower. We're at about 65 degrees right now in this house, and we're going to drop this mother humper to like 50 degrees. Whole different story, okay? Whole different story. Now, Miles Sanders, as we're saying, Miles Sanders was back at practice today. He is good to go. He is full go. And this is huge news, in my opinion, for the Eagles. So this is great news. Now, we all suspected that Miles probably wasn't really hurt that bad. However, with his injury concerns in the past, like last year and stuff, it does concern you because it's like, here we go again. Is this what we're going to deal with again this year? We dealt with this last year. If you remember, he was hurt last year. I think he missed the first game, came back. I think it was week 2. He came back and like his first carry, I think he fumbled. It was something like that. So, it does make you a little bit worried when you hear, here goes Miles. Miles is out again. He has one drive opening series, and he doesn't do anything the rest of preseason. However, he's back at practice. He's full go. And as we all suspected, they were being very, very, very cautious with Miles. So hopefully he's 100%. He goes into the game versus Lions. He runs all over them, has a huge game. I'm telling you, I got Miles having about 8 to 9 touchdowns this year. I think he's going to have about 8 or 9 touchdowns. Because if you look at it, a lot of times when you see guys go through these spells where they don't score a lot of touchdowns for 1 year, they put up pretty good numbers, but for whatever reason, they don't get a lot of touchdowns. They don't get in the end zone a lot. A lot of times the following year or the year after, all of a sudden, they get a flood of touchdowns. So I think Miles is going to make up for not just last year, but he's also going to have a great year this year. It is a contract year. And I think Miles has about 8 or 9 touchdowns if he can stay healthy. If Miles Sanders can stay healthy, I like this running back core. I think they're pretty good. When you take him out of the lineup, it does worry me a little bit because I really haven't seen a bunch from Gainwell this preseason. We know what Boston Scott is. So to me, I have a lot of questions about guys like Gainwell and stuff. Now, I think Gainwell's going to be a good player. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I don't think he's good. I just haven't seen enough of him yet. However, I do believe in Miles. When we drafted Miles, I was very excited because I thought he's a guy who didn't have a lot of wear and tear in college, and I thought he would come out, and I thought he would give us what he basically gave us his rookie year, but a little better. I still think he has that in him. I think Miles Sanders is going to have a good year. I think he's going to have a great year. I think he's going to have about 1,200 yards on the ground, about 9 touchdowns, and he's going to catch you about 40 passes. I think Miles has a big year if he can stay healthy. That's the giant if. But Miles is a volcano waiting to explode. You know what I mean? That's how I really feel about it. Think of if you're an old hockey geek, okay, and you like the old Flyers back in the day, he reminds me of a John LeClair. When John LeClair was on the Montreal Canadiens, and then he came over. Now, how out of left field is this comparison, right? I'm talking Flyers hockey. Like, the Flyers stink, but I can talk about the golden days. To me, I didn't see all the Stanley Cups, but I did see Ron Hextall when he was young, and they went to Edmonton 7 games. Lindbergh before he passed away. I got to see them, and then the Lindros years, the golden years. But when the Flyers got John LeClair, he was a guy who just had not scored a lot of goals. He was like a volcano ready to explode, and he did. He exploded all over the place, all right? All over. I think that's what Miles is going to do. All over Mark Holmes and the Dallas Cowboys this year. He's going to go off. I think Miles is going to have a big year, but he's got to stay healthy. That's the whole key to it. But to see him back at practice is a good sign. I think Miles is going to have a good year. I'm glad Miles is back. I feel a whole lot more secure when Miles Sanders is back in the lineup when he's not. If he's not, and I like Sermon, I like that move. I like it as a compliment to Miles Sanders, Gainwell, and Scott. If you take Miles out of that lineup, it scares me a little bit, no doubt about it. So we'll see if Miles stays healthy, but I'm glad he's back at practice, and I'm glad he's ready to go. Now, the one other thing I kind of want to talk to you guys about is tonight. Tonight we got a football game. We got the Bills, and we got the Rams, Super Bowl champion Rams. It's interesting to me because I'm a betting man. I'm going to be putting a bet in, and I'm going to go over all my bets and show you guys where I do stuff and all that stuff so you guys can do it with it, because I'm going to be streaming a lot of games. Matter of fact, I will be streaming tonight, so I will be live for this game. I will be putting bets in. I haven't put anything in yet. I'm still looking. Right now, they got Buffalo is 2.5-point favorites going into tonight's game. The over-under is 52. I'm really debating that over-under. I hate taking the unders, but I'm a big believer in the overs. I may take the over in this game. I'm thinking over 52. I'm thinking of a 2-game parlay tonight. I'm thinking of taking the over, the 52. The question is, do I take the Bills or not? Because on one hand, I think the Buffalo should win this game. Most people think that they're going to win this game. But, man, that's the Los Angeles Rams. Like, the Rams are Super Bowl champions. They're champions and they're at home. They're going to have some pride. I'm almost leaning towards taking the Los Angeles Rams and the money line. Well, money line's off right now of the one place I'm looking at. But 2.5 point, they're getting 2.5 points. I'm thinking of taking the Rams and the over in this game. But we'll see. I'll definitely let you know what I take or who I pick tonight as I go live. Definitely look for that. Let me know what you guys think. $8 million created by Howie Roseman. Good move for the Eagles. Just don't overdo the whole restructuring. Don't get all caught up in it. Here or there, it's okay. Don't do too much of it. It gets you into salary cap hell down the road. And then Miles Sanders returns. I'm predicting big year for him. It's going to surprise a lot of people. I know a lot of you guys aren't expecting me to say that. But I think if Miles is healthy, I think explosion all over Mark Holmes. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision. We're all just living in it. So as a lot of you guys know, I like to make bets when it comes to football. I'm big into it, right? And I'm going to talk and do some videos this year talking about different bets I'm taking and things like that because people have asked me. One of the things that I've done in the past that I've had a lot of success with in betting is early on in the year, I would say the first month of the season, first 4 to 5 weeks of the season, I like to take underdogs. I like to take underdogs because the NFL is so unpredictable. You think about it. You get one team on paper, they look really good. Another team on paper, they're supposed to be really bad. Then the NFL starts and everything gets flipped on its head. You just don't know, okay? And I think, especially in today's game, where teams aren't playing in preseason. They don't play their starters. They basically keep them in bubble wrap, and then they let them go week one. These players, their timing's off, they're out of shape, and it's sloppy. And I think this is the best time for teams to have upsets. So I really like going for the underdogs, especially first 4 to 5 weeks of the season. After that, you kind of start to know who is who and what is what, and it's a lot easier to, predict, I think, upsets and non-upsets. But right now, first 4 to 5 weeks of the season, great opportunity to make some money. With that said, Denzel Washington out.